Okay, good evening, everyone. We're just going to give it a few more minutes before we get started. We're delighted to welcome Claire, and I'll introduce her to you in just a moment. But we'll just give it another minute or two to see, just waiting for other people to join in with us. Thank you. Okay, I think, Claire, what we'll do, we'll get started. I'm sure we'll have more people joining us shortly as we get going. First of all, a big thank you to all of you joining us this evening. We're delighted that you could join us, and we're particularly delighted to welcome Claire with us this evening. Claire, who many of you know, or know of, I'm sure, is the founder of Hive Bulk Foods. And this evening she's leading a session with us where not only are we going to learn how we can make our own body cream at home using natural ingredients, but she's also going to be sharing with us some practical tips and ideas about how we can create zero waste at home with our kids, and sharing some of her experiences and some of her ideas. So Claire, a massive thank you for giving up your time this evening, and I'll pass over to you.
Thank you so much. Welcome everybody to today's talk on how to make your own natural body butter. So today I'm going to talk to you on how to make, and some of you I believe have already bought some products from the Hive, because I bumped in some of you this afternoon at the Hive and you said, hey, I'm going to watch you tonight on the talk. So here I have to explain. Adira and I, before I should introduce, we are in my daughter's room today to do the presentation, because we were thinking what is the best setting to do. So we are sitting on children's stool and we are totally in this 8-year-old setting bedroom. But once we're done with the body butter, we will turn around the laptop and you will see my daughter's room. And I'll explain to you how is a very low carbon emission bedroom. How do kids can have a very low carbon emission. So first, for the body lotion, and please, if you have any questions, type them down. I will reply to them by the end of the session. So first, for the body butter, you need few ingredients. If you do not have those oils or body butter, it's okay. You can swap them around and just use what you have at home. So you need some jojoba oil. You need some sweet almond and coconut oil. Now, as you can see, all the jars I have nothing to do. This one is some barbecue sauce jar, but because I'm the founder of the Hive, so everything is reused in my house. So I'm going to use this barbecue jar. Obviously, I will sterilize it, and I will just do my shopping at the Hive to get more oil. Same for this jojoba oil. I will use, I don't know what it was before, another condiment. Now I need, and I think you can see it, this is shea butter. This is a very, very lovely, very, very greasy and soft. And with Malaysia's weather, it's already very melting almost. And this is cocoa butter. Now, what you need to do, and again, if you have only shea butter and no cocoa, it's okay. You can just use cocoa butter or shea butter. And if you do not have the fancy oil or almond oil, you can just use a coconut oil. But I like to have a blend. And then it's not mandatory either. You can just put your favorite scent on essential oil. But if you do not want to use essential oil, don't. Now, if you want to use this body butter on your children, you can, but then I recommend no essential oil. A lot of studies have shown that essential oil on children is not really recommended, mainly on babies. So here I use lavender and sweet orange. Now I have to say, I've been very selfish, because when GIS told me, Claire, would you be interested in doing a webinar? I said yes. And because I was running out of my own body butter, so it was my body butter lasts probably for 4 months. I have no idea actually, probably 4 months. So every 4 months I make a new batch. And when you guys contacted me, it was about a week ago, and I thought it was a great opportunity to make it with you guys. So I'll have another batch for the next 4 months. Now, you have to melt in a bain-marie. So you melt it in, in a glass you put a glass bowl in boiling water and you melt. It's very simple. It's half a cup of each and a little bit of oil. Oh, someone is knocking at the door. Hold on 1 second. So sorry about that. No, you wait. Of course, my kids have been briefed, but of course, they forgot. You mix everything, all the ingredients except the essential oil together in the bain-marie and you let it melt. Once it is all melted, it will look like that. It is supposed to be very hot. You put it in the fridge. You put it in the fridge for about an hour and then I'm going to do it on live TV. I don't know how it's going to turn out. You have to whip it. So you whip it. I'm scared. I'm doing it with my kids' bed, my kids' toys, and then my kids' books around it. You gotta whip it. I'm gonna stop because it takes about 10 minutes of whipping. So here, you whip it for a good 10 minutes, and then, and I'm sorry for that, I don't have the final version because I have the beginning version, I have the mid version, but I didn't have enough ingredients at home to make the final version. And then once you have a big fluffy, because you're gonna have a very big fluffy moisturizer after that, you put it in this jar or any jars that closes down. And you have to keep it at room temperature. Now this jar, to be honest, for this amount is not gonna be enough. So usually I use another sort of glass jars like that. And because it's not gonna be enough for the whole amount. Now I have to say, why do I like to make my own beauty products? I'm not a big fan of DIY, but I like to know what I put on my body and what I eat. So for that, I discovered it was much better for the body cream. It was very hard to find natural body cream with the packaging that was as well, you know, in aluminium, which I could recycle or something like that. So usually it's plastic packaging, which I don't like and try to avoid. And I found out that I can make a huge batch for a very little amount of money. All those ingredients are from the Hive, but you can find them as well from this fantastic store. Craftivity is one of them. But it will cost you really the fraction of the cost if you buy them raw. It's very ridiculously low. I think if you buy all the ingredients, it will be less than 20 bucks, 20 ringgit for all those little amounts. Definitely less than 20. I'm not including the essential oil. The essential oils are a bit more expensive, but that's optional. Now I like this brand, Claire Organics, because they're very affordable, and since I don't use essential oil for pharmaceutical use or medicinal use, I don't mind to use cheap and affordable essential oils, and those are perfect. I just need the scent and I just need something that smells good. Then I put them in a glass jar. Now what is very nice as well is those are just the IKEA jars we can all have. Of course my kids have to come in the room. Those you can offer them, make them as home gift to your friends, and you can just put a little bow and a little note. It's very nice, and you can make a bunch for all your girlfriends or your friends, and I find it as a very thoughtful gift, very affordable and very useful. People think about you every time they put it on. So it is quite greasy. I have to say it's greasier because it's 100% oil than if you use water-based moisturizer. I really prefer oil than water product. So for me, it's a perfect product. But then, as any DIY, you can tweak it to your like. So this is my recipe. Some people use as well arrowroot powder to make it a bit less greasy. I personally do not. I like very oily, and actually it absorbs after 5-10 minutes. It absorbs in the skin. It takes a bit of time. But I love the moisturizing. We live in Asia in a very humid country, but I still feel always very, very dry. At the same time, I'm 44 now, so maybe it's as well my skin loses its elasticity, but I really appreciate this shea butter, cacao butter. I mean, and those are all beautiful oils. I'm not a huge fan of coconut oil, to be honest, but it works very well with the blend. My favorite oil, to me, the one that absorbs the best is almond oil. And you can find it for very cheap at the Hive as well. But if once you have this sorted out, it might look like a little bit of work, but once you have this sorted out, you're sorted out for years. I find it very healthy, and I find it very good to teach as well our kids how to make this at home, how you do not need to buy the latest brand or anything like that. And this is a good segue to now the rest of the conversation we're going to have today. So this is the conversation I have about the body butter. Now the body butter, again, keep it airtight. If you don't want to use your fingers because you might think you're going to contaminate it, I personally use my fingers. You can use a spatula, you know, or anything like that to rub it on your body so it keeps longer. But for me, I really do such a high consumption of this product that within 3-4 months it's gone. So I use my fingers for it when I use it. But so I was going to say, if you have any questions, do ask them in a Q&A, and I will reply by the end around 7:45. I will reply to all your questions. So now I'm going to talk about how to live zero waste when you have children, mainly young children. It's a bit of a challenge when we live in such a consumerist society. So now it is 2020 and it's a good time to teach our kids about sustainability. I think all our children, my children goes to French International School. I know you guys at GIS are very big on sustainability, and you're teaching the children how to be very responsible and how to be conscious of your daily carbon emission. So for me, I started my zero waste journey when my oldest was born. It was a bit of the click for me. So my kids were a bit born in that way. So everything we had from a very young age, when they want something or for birthday or anything, everything was always secondhand. So for me, I didn't have to explain to them why it was secondhand. It was, they were born in that system, I would say. So it was never questioned. Of course, as any children, sometimes they're asking for something that is very heavily packaged, but we find a little way to turn around it. So here, I'm going to go over my daughter's bedroom. So my daughters are 8 years old. Adira, you wanted to grab something? Yes. So I'm going to show you my daughter's bedroom. So I have, just to give you a bit of background, so you understand the journey. And the journey is, everybody has his own journey. So this is me, Claire Sanslot, my personal journey. I hope I will inspire you in your journey. It's a journey we all have to take, no matter what, because right now we have a lot of issues on the planet. We have a pandemic. We have a very important movement with Black Lives Matter. But at the same time, we still have climate change is still, to me, the #1 priority and what is extremely, extremely important and what needs to be tackled right away as well by politicians with Black Lives Matter and the pandemic. So all those matters are crucial to deal with right now. And as we speak, you must have known there is a massive oil spill in Russia, where a tanker dropped tons of oil in a river, and which is now going in the Arctic Sea. So we're giving our children a garbage. So now the idea is to teach our kids how to lower our daily carbon emission. So this is my kids' bedroom. I'm going to start here. I'm just going to show you a bit of the settings. So what I did is I put the laptop on the bookshelf. So I'm going to move the bookshelf so it's not moving too much for you. So since we're here in front of my daughter's library, bookshelves, bookshelves, I'm going to show you what's happening here. So everything I buy for my children is, I'm not going to say super conscious, but everything I try to buy is secondhand. So here we are, sorry, you have the oil display at the same time. But here, this is a toy that my mom brought. And okay, inside it's a mix of plenty of toys. I love buying those mix, I will explain to you. But this toy is was mine when I was a little girl. So it was a classic in France. It's a magical tree. I think in England it was a big hit too. For the kids born in the 80s, you will know what I'm talking about. Then I buy all my kids, because we're French speaker, all my kids' toys, I buy them from 2 bookstores here in KL that only sell French books secondhand. So one is called the Little French House, and one is for a charity for orphans with AIDS, which is called Coup de Pouce. And all the books, I buy them from them. So here, those are the things. So I don't mind. Books are classics. So like I'm taking one by accident, right by chance. This is from September 2011. So my daughters were not even born. But it doesn't matter because stories are stories. They last forever. So I buy magazines, books, everything for them secondhand. Plus, because we are foreign speakers, it's obviously much easier as well for us to buy secondhand. We wouldn't be able to buy them new anyway in Malaysia. But what I'm saying here, French or non-French or English-speaking books, you can so easily buy them secondhand. Now I'm going to show you a bit lower because we have a lot of books. Because as any parents, I want my kids to read. So my other daughters has a big library too, because again, everything is secondhand. So we have a lot of English books too, which we can find easily secondhand. So I know we have a lot of fairs or everything like school fairs where parents sell their toys and all the money goes to charity. And I know GIS does that too. But what is very important is to create those conversations between parents. And to me, that's a conversation as a mother. When I had my twins, they were born in Hong Kong. I had 3 kids in Hong Kong and I moved to KL 4 years ago. Sorry, that's my dog who wants to go out. I have a little dachshund. Do you want to go out? Okay. So a bit of the journey on that one is so I'm obviously French and I moved to Hong Kong when I was 29 years old. I worked in advertising at the time. I met my husband in Hong Kong and I had my 3 daughters in Hong Kong as well as my dog here. And when they were born, I bought everything secondhand. I was already in my journey to having as low carbon emission as possible. And the life has it that I have my daughter, my oldest daughter is 18 months older than my twins. So I have almost like triplets, right? And then one day on this French Facebook chat, I said, I'm looking for clothes for my oldest daughter. And I explained the situation and luck has it, and I'm telling you, when you go zero waste or when you go through that journey or any journey, the stars are going to be aligned. Another French lady told me, Claire, I also have twins and have an oldest who as well is 18 months apart, and my twins are born this year and my oldest was born this one. So she said to me, I'll sell you everything. If the tastes are the same, I'll sell you everything you want that my kids have outgrown. So then, from then on, I bought everything from that woman, from clothes to sports equipment to anything. And her taste was so good. Those were brands I would have never been able to afford because they were such expensive brands for children clothes, but like super fancy, like the Jacquardie. Even the beddings, I bought it from her, were Jacquardie, you know, with hand embroidery and those kind of very fancy. So the start here, my story is, because this is my journey, I say on Facebook, I'm looking for clothes for such age and such age. Let me know if you have anything. And I did mention I like some brands because it was a French chat, so I did mention some French brands that I really liked. This woman comes back to me saying, I got you sorted out. This is what I have. Then she sent me pictures of whatever. I'm like, yes, I buy everything from you. Send everything in a big IKEA shopping bag. Amazing. So this is how I did it. I did it in Hong Kong. I moved to KL, so I lost this contact, and you're thinking it's the end of the world. I don't have that lady where I can buy, you know, from every 6 to every 12 months, I would buy from her. What am I going to do in Hong Kong, in KL? I mean, same thing in KL. French chat, because my kids go to the French school. French chat, I'm looking for kids this age, I need clothes, I need that. I found another contact. The woman contacted me. She said, my daughter Paloma, I'll get you things. Then that woman moved to London, and I'm like, damn it, I'm not gonna have anything anymore. Then another lady, same thing, another lady, she's like, Zéli's clothes, I'll get you sorted out. So this is how you have to be very, very open. Be very specific about what is your style, what you're looking for, and because you're going to get otherwise a lot of junk, you might not be interested in what is not your style. So be very, very specific on the brands, and then go for it. Why is it so important to do that? Some people are really shishy and think it's very taboo to buy secondhand. We have to understand that the top pollutant on the planet Earth are clothes. Children clothes is one of the top as well, but clothes are really, fast fashion is one of the top pollutants on the planet. I am very proud to say on that one that when I had my babies, my mom already warned me to tell, and she told me, do not buy baby clothes. And I have to say, I got a lot of baby clothes, brand new, as gift, although I did say I did not need any gift, but I got a lot of them. But you know, as any parents, and I really tell this to all of you because you've all experienced the same, baby clothes 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 24 months old, we are all the same. They go so fast. We don't really care. They're full of breast milk is stain the white clothes. So they don't last a long time. So what I mean is, I got most of my baby stuff secondhand as well, and I'm so thankful for that, because once I was done with it, I gave everything to another girlfriend, and I passed it on. I told her if they're still good. Some are not good anymore because, again, the breast milk stains too much, but everything else, pass it on. Now I'm going to talk about something else about that subject. I wish I could see your conversation here, your questions. Because people give, and it's a bit controversial subject, but I feel like it's important to say, and it's my opinion. People give to charity, and they tell me all the time, but Claire, I actually give all my stuff, my kids' stuff, to charity. And I have to say, charities, and at the Hive, we work with a lot of charities, with a lot of refugees, a lot of little houses around Bangsa as well, where we give children's toys and children's clothing and all this. But if you go to their houses and if you go to their entities, they even have, I remember this refugee house in Pudu, they had to dedicate an entire room to all our things. My things, your things, things we donate to charity. And they didn't know what to do with that. So the all our stuff which gives us a good conscience, are now ending cluttering their space, which they don't have a space for, with things they don't need. So I could see so many things that were not practical for them. Clothes that were not practical at all for people in their situation. And I was thinking, what would be better allocated, as always, it's money. They need money more than our things. Our things, we can easily give our things to a friend or someone who is willing to buy from us, and give that money to a charity we choose. The money will be better allocated. They need money to go to school, to pay for tuition, pay for stationery, pay for dental care, medical care, all those kind of things. They don't necessarily need more of our things. They receive too much. Some, if they need something, they will let us know. But right now, I have to say, sometimes I'm ashamed to bring all those things that we receive, because at the Hive, at a point we were collecting things for them, and then I stopped because I thought I was giving them a disservice on that one. Some of the shoes were high heel shoes who were donated, and people really donated it with good conscience, but didn't realize it will take space and it won't be used. So on that note, I think, let's say you have a child who's 5 and all the clothes are too small, and they're still very good quality, very good brands, and still in good condition. Best to say on social media, I'm selling 30 pieces, because that's it. That's a total of 30 pieces, and I know it goes fast. And this is like for 200, 300 bucks, I don't know, you decide, and someone else buys it from you. And then that money, you can give it to any charity, and they will make better due. So your items will be used by someone for sure, and the money will be properly used as well. So I think it's a better way to allocate resources on monetary and things and goods here, both better allocated. So that's my personal opinion. And I think for people who, I know a lot of you are working in many and giving a lot of your time on many charities, and I think I would love to hear from you on that one. I think I'm right on that one. So it's better to give money and resell our things between each other, collect the money and give it to people who really need our money to go for medical needs or educational needs or things like that. So on that note, so that's my daughter's bookshelves, and we have our 2 little stores. I hope the English speakers and English readers have as well their little book. But see here, for French speakers, we love our magazines. Oh my God, I'm taking one randomly. Those are, yeah, okay, 2016, which is actually pretty recent for us. So that is actually very new for us, because some are very, very old. But that doesn't matter. I mean, this one is from when? 2017, even more recent. My goodness. But that's just, and my kids actually, after that, once they outgrow everything, we're gonna, oh, okay, so this is when you see we actually buy everything secondhand. This is totally random, but sometimes I forget that I already bought it secondhand from some parents and I buy it again. But that's what happens. But I have to say, once we're done with them, we're gonna pass them around again. But right now, my kids absolutely cherish this magazine, so those are staying here. So that's for the books. So the books, we try to pass them around according to age. So now, again, I'm gonna bring the laptop a little bit higher. I have daughters who are then girls. So girls love their clothes already. So for the clothes, I'm going to take the bookshelf with me. Bear with me here. So the clothes for my daughters, as mentioned, I buy them from some of my girlfriends who become girlfriends, which is the beauty of it. You make new acquaintances and then you become girlfriends. So I buy them from my girlfriends. And when I buy them from my girlfriends, they usually, in my house, is not so well ironed, but everything is properly ironed, you know, it's nicely folded. It smells like in their house with their special laundry and all of this, you know what I mean? And then I bring them a big bag, like a massive IKEA bag of like maybe 20, 30 pieces in it. And my girls love it. And so now the little girl my clothes come from, her name is Zélie. Then it goes to my 2 daughters, Emily and Charlotte. And then it goes to another little girl named Chiara, who's a daughter of one of my girlfriends, who as well pass it on to another little girl from the school. So our clothes have a whole journey. Of course, as any parents, my daughters wear leggings as well, and those cannot be reused. Those are, after that, passed on as cloth. So what we get from Zélie at the moment, we even got a backpack. This is brand new from Zélie. She gave it to us. But what we get, it's really, really cute stuff. So actually, I would never buy expensive clothes for my kids. Zélie's mom, who's now a good girlfriend named Caroline, buys super cute stuff for her daughter. So I just get everything secondhand. To be honest, as you know, I'm the founder of the Hive. I have a big business, not a big business. Right now, everything is very complicated. We used to have 5 stores in 2019, and now we have only 3. The COVID-19 has been very, very difficult for us. But saying that, 2019 has been very big for the Hive. We've been growing very fast, and I've been very busy. So I would not even have the time to shop. But doing this saves me a ton of time, saves me a ton of money, and removes a massive carbon emission from them. I only see win-win from that, buying from France. So we get really super duper cute clothes all the time. I mean, this is with little neon pink polka dots. I love everything. And let me tell you, every time I bring those IKEA bags, my kids go crazy and they think it's Christmas. So here, my mom is as well, their grandma as well loves to buy from those French little town where they sell everything, on the sidewalk. So for my mom, it's her Sunday walk during spring, and springtime we do this, and fall in France, you have all this little a village place, and once a week they would sell their things. So my mom goes there and she buys a lot of things for her granddaughters. So she brings, when she visits Gail, she brings. So now this is the second bit. So again, everything is there. I don't think that their bathing suits are here. Unfortunately, I think they are downstairs, because we just got 3 bathing suits from Zeli and they were super, super cute. But even, this is sportswear. My kids, this is even Reebok. I would not buy brands for my kids, but I guess this is to play tennis. So we get everything, absolutely everything secondhand. I don't even really look in the bag. When I buy the bag, I get the bag whole full. I don't even, because I know their taste. And it's always pretty much, if not better, than my taste. So that's how it works for the clothes. So you save, again, ton of money, ton of time, and a ton of natural resources that would, just to make cotton requires so much water, just to synthetic, of course, as we know it, now synthetic fibers will stay on the planet Earth pretty much forever. So we all know, and if you do not quite know about the subject of the impact of fast fashion, I highly, highly recommend you to watch the documentary, The True Cost. It's on YouTube. And it's a journey they take you from Bangladesh, which is now the factory of the world for cheap clothes. All the brands are there, from Zara to Gap to Old Navy to H&M, are manufacturing that. And it's really modern slavery. The working conditions are unacceptable and horrendous. It's showing us, I think we all remember a few years ago in Dhaka, these big buildings collapsed with all the female workers inside who were making our cheap clothes. So it's really making us conscious that everything we wear, someone made it. And if it was very cheap or affordable, they probably made it in really bad conditions. So at the same time, I'm not saying we shouldn't buy from fast fashion. I'm saying we have to be more conscious. And mainly for kids who are outgrowing their clothes so quickly, let's be more conscious and get it from other people. So because there is a very heavy, high human cost and a very high environmental cost. So now I'm going to move to the furniture. So the furnitures in my daughter's room have a story. Because again, we moved many times, as most of you, if you are parents at GIS, you probably moved many times and you probably moved as well in many countries, trying to move at the same time, sorry. And so here, I got those 2 beds, and because they're twins, I'm going to show you. I got those 2 beds secondhand too. So in Hong Kong, for people who might have lived in Hong Kong before, I'm saying this because I wouldn't be surprised if some of you did. We lived in Bel Air. It's called Bel Air. So it was a massive residency with how many towers? Maybe 10 towers, identical towers. It's one of those Hong Kong buildings, but it's a beautiful building. And because I had twins, on my Facebook chat, because we have the Bel Air resident chat, so you can imagine the trade going on that place. I said, hey, my babies were moving out of the crib. So at the time we had 3 cribs in the house, all secondhand, of course. And I'm looking for, very complicated here, not very complicated, but you would think hard to get. I'm looking for 2 toddler beds. So who would have 2? I was thinking I'm gonna have to grab 1 here and 1 here. And that's what I'm saying on this journey, the stars are aligned.
within few days, another parent messaged me saying, Claire, I got 2 IKEA toddler bed. My twins have outgrown them, and you can pick them up when you want. So I said, wonderful. So of course the mattresses were new, because mattresses from toddler is not something I would recommend. So the mattresses, we bought those new, but the whole frame was perfect, and we used it. So now on the room, one of my daughter, because she's 8, so my 8-year-old wants to still keep this bed, which is way too small for her, but that's her toddler bed. But she's like, no, I don't want to leave my toddler bed. But now this is Charlotte's bed. Charlotte said she wants another bed. This one is as well secondhand. It's as well from Hong Kong, and it's a super fancy schmancy brand. It cost $1 billion new, and we just bought it secondhand. And it comes with a sliding bed below, which is very convenient. In Hong Kong, we don't have space. In KL, we have much more space, so we're much more luxurious. But anyway, so what we did with Charlotte's toddler bed, it became a day bed, and we put it in downstairs so they can read on the small day bed there. But once Emily is ready to let go of this bed too, I will pass it on to my little network of parents, French parents. I think it's better, my French parents network, just because it's a small community. And once you put it in a really big community, so if you keep it to GIS community, I think it's the best, because once you put it on a Facebook chat with thousands of people, you get overwhelmed with messages. I do not have the time to go. It requires a lot of energy to deal with all the messages and everything. So it's hard. It's easier to keep it in a small community. I would recommend you guys to just keep it to GIS community. So it's easier to manage expectation and everything else. So that's for my 2 daughters' bed. And then everything else was little pieces as well, came secondhand. But that's pretty much at this stage, the room. So to be honest, now we had I'm gonna give you a good example. We had my twins' birthday was April 25th during the MCO. But for us, it didn't change anything because I was gonna buy all my stuff from people in the neighborhood or in the community. So when the twins' birthday came 2 or 3 weeks earlier, I sent this message to this is a Facebook page, believe it or not, for the French women who live in French community from Damansaraing, which is where I live. So we have our own Facebook page. So it's very small, but during the MCU, you couldn't take the car to go very far. You could only go a few kilometers away, right? So I put a message on that chat saying, hey, my twins are going to be 8. I'm looking for rollerblades. One needed a new bike. And one needed, they wanted pet shop. LOL. I forgot what they wanted. Anyway, they got me a whole list. So I put the whole list. And then 5 parents messaged me. So I went to 5 parents, but like within 3-kilometer radius. I did everything in the same afternoon. My trunk was full. I had a bike. I had rollerblades. One was way too big. I bought 2 actually. One was way too big, but it doesn't matter. We can still use it. I got the bike for free, by the way, because it was an old bike. So she said, no, just take it for free. So I gave her some goodies from the Hive after to thank her. But then you get stuff even for free, which awesome. So I have to say, I only see good things coming out of it. And I didn't know, I knew one of those ladies, but I didn't know the 4 other ladies. So it was kind of nice as well to meet the community. So what I'm saying here is this, I really cannot see any, I only see positivity. It's like meeting new people. It's like teaching our children, because my kids never open presents, like with the whole wrapping. How we wrapped our presents is when I wrap them in my scarves or with my fabric, so we still have the excitement of unwrapping a present, but with not so much wastage or anything like that. So it's really teaching them, and believe me, they are far away from perfect, and I'm far away from perfect as well, but it's really teaching them to be more conscious of where things come from, how plastic is impacting the planet, anything like that. And they're still kids. I mean, don't get me wrong. They still want the latest something they will see at their friend's house or they will see at school. But it's okay. Within 6 to 12 months, I just ask someone in the community, they will probably hand it over to us or sell it to us or something like that. So that's how our life has been going for us. Now, when I will have preteen and teenagers, I do not know if it's still possible to do that. But now it's been going on for 10 years for my oldest, and I've been doing this for 8 years for the young one, and there is no frustration, and I only see beautiful things coming out of it. So for me, it is a beautiful journey that I really encourage everybody to start. Start small, but definitely start. The idea is to really refuse new items, refuse new things to come in the house. Reuse is the most important here. The most important one here is reuse. Reuse, reuse, reuse. Obviously, until it breaks and you absolutely cannot repair it, but this bed already this bed has been used probably for now, I don't know, probably 10 years. It's a toddler bed. It will be handed over to someone else. Everything has to, last much more longer than what society is now telling us it should last. And consumerist society is telling us it should last for. So really the idea is to reuse as much as we can. We break the taboo, we share, we tell others in the community, I'm looking for this, or I'm selling this, I'm selling all those clothes for 12-year-old. You have 5 shorts, you have 10 t-shirts, you have, I don't know, you have to be very precise with the price, put it out there, see someone comes and buy it from you, and then keep the money, donate the money, who cares? But that's how you make sure someone is for sure going to reuse it. The idea is really to reuse, teach our children to reuse. That would be my message now. Now it's 7:43. So I said at 7:45, I will answer your questions. So yes, I'm going to answer your questions now. And I have a chat as well. Hi, Claire from Harita. I'm going to read the question out loud. Just want to say it's very comforting to hear you speak about this openly with passion. I hope this good life concept becomes more popular and acceptable in our setting. Way to go. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. So Harita, it will be more common if you as well, oh, did I put mute? You can hear me, right? Yes? Yes, the sound is good. So it will be more and more common if we start all doing it and be very open about it. So here, Harita, I really appreciate your message, but you need to start doing it at Garden and start making it common among all of us, because in some society, it's still very, very taboo to buy secondhand clothes or secondhand things, mainly for our children. So for me, my message here, and it's been my message for many years now, is to say, hey, I'm very proud to say my 3 kids are wearing all secondhand clothes here, and I'm proud of saying that. So here it's just to be open about it. You have to explain why, and there is nothing to be ashamed of. It is a must. It's 2020. Our carbon, the planet is suffering greatly from all our over consumerism. If it's our duty as parents to lower, the must is to lower our carbon emission, and that's the only way we can do it. Governments have to do a lot, but as individual, it's our duty as parents to do. Our duty as parents is to protect, the number one thing is to protect and make sure our children are going to be okay. And that's the way we're going to make sure our children are going to be okay. Lowering the carbon emission of the planet. And we are the number 1 pollutant on the planet. Someone from another continent, South America, Africa, their carbon emission is much lower than ours. We are the culprit here. We have to absolutely lower our carbon emission. The only way to do that, if government are not doing it, is us as individual. Because the topic of today is kids, environment, and how to get our kids stuff, is as well the way we eat less livestock, less meat, of course, but it's as well as adult, the way we consume, same as a kid. We try to refuse and reuse as much as possible. And really by leading by example to our children, because our children mimicking us. So if you buy secondhand clothes to your kids, but yourself are buying plenty of clothes, it's not gonna work. You have to, you know what I mean? You have to as well lead by example here. Any other questions, guys? I have a chat here, I'm gonna open it. Yeah, no, that's actually okay. Any other question from you? I would love to hear more questions. Even in chat, people are a bit shy, huh? It's okay, I can talk about it. Even if I feel like I'm talking about to a screen, I can talk about it forever. Oh, Claire, we do have a question here. Okay, let me see the question. Okay. How can we reduce our use of plastic? Okay, so here that's another subject. It's not really, although it's related to the kids, but the reduce of the use of plastic is usually for daily use. I'm guessing here is because when you look at the garbage, and maybe the garbage in your kitchen is full of plastic. So this one is very, very tricky. I would say the number one here in Malaysia and in Southeast Asia, you go to the wet markets with all your shopping bags. It's the best way to go. Now, if you shop at supermarkets here, you bring your own mesh bags. You know those cotton bags where you can just put all your vegetables and fruits in it, and you can put the price tag. At the Hive, we sell those, but maybe you can find them somewhere else too. You can put the price tag and scan them. Now, when you go, if you still buy dairy or meat or fish, if you go to those counter, although again we have to really lower meat consumption, but if you go to the counter, go to the butcher counter at the supermarket and bring your own container. That's the best way to really cut all our plastic. But the best way really in Malaysia is you go to the wet market, the one in TTDI is one of them, and bring all your bags with you and do all the shopping there. Now at the Hive, we work with farmers. We've been working with him since, okay, I'm going to tell you the story. Do I have time? 2 minutes. To just remind you how the stars are aligned when you start your journey. When I moved to KL, to me, the most important thing is, as a parent, to find a proper school, to find a proper doctor, and to find a farmer, to feed my family, to make sure the family is safe and the kids have a good school. So one day I was looking for an organic farmer, and again, it was 4 years ago. And it was very hard to find in KL. Even in Hong Kong, I had one, and to deliver to the house. And then it's been 1 or 2 months now I've been in KL, and I was getting a bit frustrated on my journey because I was contacting those places I saw on the internet, and it was a bit dodgy and stuff. And then one day I had this big dinner with a lot of people I didn't know, and one was sitting next to me, and I said, what do you do? Oh, I have an organic farm in Seminye. I'm like, what? So this is how life, the stars are aligned. And I said, okay, so who are you? The person is actually someone from Astro. They have 4 kids, and they decided to move from the city to Seminye and still work for Astro and have a production house, but at the same time move, not off the grid really, but move to Seminye and have a big, really serious, a lot of acres of just growing organic food. And then I was like, oh, do you think it's possible, because our production is in TTDI, and at the time I lived in Bangsa, do you think it's possible that every week you would deliver to me a basket of whatever you have? And they're like, well, maybe we can try. And this is how we tried. And now it's been 4 years. And at the Hive, every Tuesday, you can get the farmer's basket. For 50 ringgit, you get all organic vegetables from Seminye. It's a huge IKEA bag. And it's 50, and 100% of the money goes back to the farm. So that's a great way to as well remove plastic. Great way to make sure, because we lost all our organic farmers or small farmers around the city. It's a great way to get those farmers back, because people make no money in farming. But if we say there is no middleman and 100% of the money goes back to the farmer, people will go back to farming. And if you're willing to pay a little bit more because it's organic food, like 50 ringgit for farmers, for a basket of huge basket of fruits and vegetables, mainly vegetables, perfect. So this is the only way. If consumers are asking for it and we are willing to pay for it, this is the only way people are going to go back to farming. So I'm happy to say every Tuesday, you can pick up your farmer's basket at any Hive location or 3 locations, Intermark, Bongsa, and TTDI. So because now the farm double sizes, so it's pretty awesome. That's another way. Of course, you can buy from any bulk food shop. You have few of them popping all over the city. The Hive is one of them. And you can buy at the bulk food shop all your flowers, all your pulses, your nuts, your dried fruits, even your kids. We have the organic choco shells from Italy. So even your kids, yeah, with a bit of sugar for this one. But normally it's healthy food, but except for the kids' cereals, we have a little bit of a kid-friendly food. But it's a great place to buy plastic-free products. Any other questions for plastic-free life? But it starts with really refuse. Like even when you go out for food, let's say you're at work and you take a lot of takeout food, you bring your own container, fill up with the takeout and bring it back to your office. Those kind of things, it goes a really long way. I think, oh, Q&A here, sorry. Yes, Anneline. Hi, I am a lazy mom and like to order food, but the amount of plastic container is gigantic. Choosing for convenience makes me feel guilty. Any tips? I hear you, Anneline. The best way, and Anushka, I'll reply to your question afterwards. The best way here is if you order food from, let's say, Food Panda, this is not going to happen. Or Grab Food, it will come with containers. But if you're on your way back from work and you bring your own container and you fill them up and then you go home to get your food, to bring the food at home, then it's a good way. Sometimes for me, I will stop at Madame Kwan, which is because it's our guilty pleasure at home. And I will get some food at the Madame Kwan BSC because it's on my way from Hive Bongsa to my home. And I'll bring my own container. But for Madame Kwan, when you bring container, you have to bring like 5 or 6 containers because it's all different bits and pieces. So it's always a bit complicated, but I do it once in a while. Otherwise, you do have, I order sometimes for RGB, and they have this amazing vegan burger, which is called, I believe, Gaia, and everything is paper packaging. So few of our takeout food have paper packaging, thank God. And you have to know which restaurants offer paper packaging, and then you order solely from them. Otherwise, yes, if you need to buy food, it's very tricky. If it's imported food, of course, it usually comes with packaging. So it's the #1 problem. Another way as well, speaking about food, and I have 1 more minute on that one, is to make sure the plastic is one big issue, but food waste, and I know a lot of parents are into the Lost Food Project at GIS. Food waste is a big issue too, and I would encourage everybody can tackle it. This is a problem, it's not plastic. This is a problem we can all tackle right now. It's not as difficult as tackling the plastic for food container and food packaging. Food waste, the idea would be to never have to throw anything away in food, regarding food, and try to do it for a week. Make it as a challenge. For me, it's very easy to tackle food waste because my husband and I, although there is MCO now, we easily take lunch to work. So we would take our leftover food, we finish it at home, at work. And I have to say, sometimes it's not so appetizing to finish the leftover, or something you don't really like, but at lunchtime, sometimes you're so starving you would eat anything. So it's a great way to finish my food waste. I'll move on to Anushka. Going back to the body butter, how long do you keep the mix in the fridge before whipping it? About an hour. What was the maker of essential oil? The maker of essential oil you mentioned. Super excited about making the body butter. Yes, thank you so much for the workshop. Awesome. So I use, okay, so good question. I use Claire Organics, same name as mine, but it's not my brand. Claire Organics, because you have many blends and many different oil, essential oils. And a lot of people are very, very passionate about it. And there is some extremely expensive essential oil, which we call EO, extremely expensive one, which are more for medical use. Now, I do not use essential oil for medical use, so I just use it for fragrance personally. It's just for pleasure. So I use Claire Organics because it's affordable. We sell it at the Hive, but you can buy it from Claire Organics website, and they have many points of sales all over the city. So local brand, I like that too, from a female entrepreneur as well. Her name is Louise Chu, and I really like her. I really appreciate her as a female boss, business owner. And so I like local brands, affordable. Again, this essential oil is only for cosmetic. It's not for medical usage. And again, essential oil is not recommended on very young kids, so be aware of that. So I think because it's 7:57, it's going to be the end of the session. Let me double check. I believe this is it. No more questions. Awesome. This is the end of the session. So I just want to remind everybody to stay home and safe as much as possible. There's still a mild MCO. Still be very positive. Positiveness is extremely important nowadays. The talk today was about reuse principally and refuse. So I hope it inspired you. And again, this is my personal journey. This is my personal home. You're in my home now, my kid's home. But everybody has his own journey. We all make mistakes. No one is perfect. And we are not judging anybody. But again, it is very important to start, even if starting very, very small. It is important to start and inspire others as well to start. Only together we can really tackle this climate change problem. And again, there is no point about being a perfect zero waste person. We all need to practice zero waste, even very, very, very badly. We all need to start. So on those words, I'll let you go. Thank you so much, everybody. And again, have a wonderful evening. Thanks again. Bye.